All right. Well, first and foremost, I just love you and adore you so much. I'm just like, what a gift to just spend a couple of minutes with Lisa. And, as I mentioned before I hit record, I just want to show people what's possible and let them know that, like, there's so much available on the other side of deciding that you're worth it, deciding that you are meant for something more. And when I was thinking about who do I want to talk to, you were one of the first people that came to mind. So I'm just really excited for people to hear your story.
Oh, thanks, Ava. I'm excited too. I'm excited to share the magic that comes from AOB. So yeah.
Yes. So, okay. So I think it'd be really helpful for people to just see, like, where were you before AOB? Maybe like what inspired you to join AOB? And
Mhm.
if you can, and if you're open to, just sharing some of the like really tangible shifts that you've seen with your work and in your business, since the integration of the work that we've done inside of AOB and just over these last few
Yeah.
years.
So AOB came to me, I'm like literally through the grapevine of social media. And I was a yoga teacher, full-time yoga teacher. COVID was starting to come into play, and I saw you, fell in love with like your vibe and the words that you were saying, and it showed this AOB and meditation and breath work. I was like, okay, well, I kind of already meditate. No, I wasn't meditating before. I wasn't even like a close crumb to what I started to experience once I landed in that course. So I was a full-time yoga teacher, and then I took AOB. And because of the way that you taught AOB, there was so much, there wasn't just like the breath work and the meditation happening, but there was also like this beautiful soul coaching that was happening at the same time that really started helping me to like understand and feel and be aware that I wasn't really fully living in my truth, living in my alignment. And then, of course, because we were in this practice of getting very still and quiet every single day and choosing to show up in that manner of getting still and doing the exercises you were asking us to do, I started to hear. I started to hear a lot clearer. I started to hear whispers, as I like to call them, like little whispers. And from that experience of AOB, I started to discover like truly who I was. And I was understanding that I did have confidence that I could lean into, that I did have this space of like it awoken it, or I hope that's the proper English, probably not. It woke something up in me in that space of like, I'm worthy of more. I'm worthy of speaking my truth. I'm worthy of um, doing more with this work. I'm worthy of saying, maybe I'm safe to leave this job and move into something else and follow these whispers that I started hearing through this course. And so um, that's kind of where it began for me, was really this hearing of these whispers and the reawakening and of like who I truly was. Like, life is loud. Life is loud. And then you get into routine. And so AOB for me, like, I think you have it on one of your videos way back when I did my like testimonial for it. Like it connected me to my soul. Like it honestly connected me to my soul and helped me to understand what this journey was all about. So AOB to me was not only that, it was also the first investment that I made, which was like huge. It was my first like ever real investment that I had to go like, okay, it's COVID. You're not really working. And you have to lean in and trust that this is what you're meant to be doing. And I did. And from that point on, those investments for myself and for my path um, became easier, and was always shown that I was supported. So as soon as I invested, I was always shown like from source, from universe, that I was supported. So there was so many learning opportunities of growth for me just from signing up for AOB, not just like finding myself, my security and my confidence and who I am, but also like learning about my money stories and learning about, how I meant to show up in this world. So AOB, yeah, for me was like the beginning to really finding me. Yeah.
Wow. I I mean, I had chills the entire time that you were speaking. I feel like the entire time you speak to me, I'm always like, my body is buzzing. Um, I just love that so much. And it's, it's so cool to just like have these conversations because I have my frame of reference of how breathwork and meditation has like woven its way through my life and created its own magic. And then you have your frame of reference. And so to hear
Mhm.
like that this container that has nothing to do with money at all started to bring up revolutions for you as far as like, oh, this is how I was looking at money, and now I can trust myself in this way, and now I'm experiencing that there's alternate perspectives of how I can relate to this thing that is so incorporated in every single person's life. Like,
Mhm.
it's just really cool because it just paints a picture of all of the underlying things that get to shift for you in your life when you
Yeah.
start to develop a deeper relationship and intimacy with yourself, that ultimately it would be impossible for me to say like, and this is going to change, and this is going to change, and this is going to be highlighted, and this thing's going to happen
Mhm.
from the very get-go, because what is meant to be awakened inside of you and what is meant to be shifted and cleared and evolved through these tools will make itself known. And I feel like
Mhm.
the cool thing is that I don't ever feel like it makes itself known in a really chaotic way. Like you said, it's like a whisper. It's so gentle, it's so
Mhm.
soft. It's an invitation really of like, here's an opportunity for you. And I just don't think that there's many other outlets that really offer you this depth that stillness and breath and meditation really offer.
I think it's the fact that your AOB is an opportunity to like come home. It's truly, to me, it's like the opportunity to come home and to understand like what lives within us. And once you discover that, once you like reconnect back into that through the breath, through the meditation, and through showing up, like making the choice that you are of importance, like, because that's really what this is. It's the sensation of saying like, I'm important enough to invest in this course that is going to allow me not only to rediscover me, but is going to allow me to create more abundance and more opportunities for myself as I allow myself to lean into this path of signing up. So to me, it's like you say yes to you, says yes to you, in the form of I choose to invest in myself, and then I choose to show up and actually do the work. And I choose to allow myself to actually open my ears and open my heart to receive this information that Ava is laying down. And boom, 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 all of these other understandings and pathways start to open. So it's a beauty to me. It's like, it was a coming home. It was a coming home. I took it as I think I was 40 years old when I took AOB, and um, yeah, just it finally quieted down the noise for me to hear who I was. Yeah.
Mhm. I love that so much. And now, I mean, you said before you were a full-time yoga teacher, and
Mm.
now you're actually creating your own training, and you have
Mhm.
these incredible programs that you lead and all of these individuals that you serve. Can you just share like now
Mhm.
what is your work and what have you
Yeah.
created just from this path?
Yeah. So I'm an Akashic reader and an intuitive mentor. So I offer courses and mentorship around helping women to awake their own intuitive gifts, as well as offer these Akashic readings. But really, all of it, the nice thing about my work is like, or not the nice thing, but I guess the beautiful thing about my work is like this breath and meditation is the foundation of when I open up the records and I invite somebody into their records to share a reading with them. I drop them in because my purpose and my most biggest responsibility is to create a clear and open channel in them. So how do we do that? How do we create a clear and open channel is to drop them in through their breath, get them into a deep meditative space, and then from there they can be receiving their own beautiful downloads. So from the readings all the way into teaching women how to do what I do, it's all comes back into teaching them this space of connecting back home, because in this space our intuitive channel is wide awake, our third eye is wide awake. And so yeah, I've got all of these different little programs that have awakened from me allowing myself again. None of like I didn't come into AOB thinking I was going to be, I didn't even know what the Akashic records were. Honestly, a year and a half ago, I didn't even know what they were, but it was because I had found this path of getting still. I had allowed myself the practice and the ritual, the sacred ritual of every single morning sitting, every single night sitting, breathing, connecting to myself, dropping into my meditations. And then from there, I started hearing, and then follow this path and follow this path and follow this path. And from this path, all of a sudden, this is what I'm doing. And if you would have asked me a year and a half ago that I was going to be teaching women how to awaken their intuitive gifts, I would have said, like, what? So yeah, that is how I still use this work. And yeah, it's the foundation for all. It's the foundation for my work and for my life, really.
I love it. I love it. And it's not just that you're doing this, it's also that you're supported by this, right? Like you are financially supported, you're taking care of yourself. There's not the where is the money going to come from, or where's the next client? Like you, through taking this first step and then seeing the step that came after that and continuing to lean in and follow the guidance that you were getting from within through these practices, have
Mhm.
been able to build a business that like actually supports you and actually like
Yeah.
takes care of you. And it's so big because, I think a lot of people get into this work and like, I know I've been at this point, you've been at this point. It's like, all right, it's like kind of starting to work and then it feels like it's not working. And like, I mean, we all go through iterations of this, even at the
Mhm.
levels that we're at. But to be at a space where it's like, even in the moments when I feel like it's not working, I know that it's still working is so beautiful because like that's safety, right? And we want to be able to
Mhm.
build businesses that feel safe and feel like
Yeah.
a foundation that we can rely upon. And so I celebrate you for the
Mm.
hard work that you've put in and for continuing to trust yourself and to do the work even when it was hard, or do the work when life was throwing you other chaotic experiences. Like we all have the same struggles that come up in different
Mhm.
forms, of course, but you've done the work, you've committed, you've leaned in, and like it's paying off now in ways that, like you said, you never would have
Yeah.
imagined. And I just think that it's such a beautiful testament to just your courage and your decision of like
Yeah.
choosing yourself and seeing yourself as worthy of investing in.
And I just like something that was like whispering in as you were sharing that is like, it was like the choosing of leaning in. And it's the consistently choosing to lean in. And I recognize and I see from past of when those moments of like dip or like struggle internally start to come into play, where all the stories start to come happening and speaking a little bit louder. It's because I stepped out of the medicine of the practices that I learned. It's because I stepped out of the medicine of my meditation and breath work. It's because I wasn't allowing myself the medicine of leaning in and saying yes to me. And that's the only time really truly that I was at a loss, even when maybe a course wasn't filling or whatnot. It was those times that I was choosing not to lean in and trust in this, and allowing myself to access the very beautiful gift and medicine that meditation is. That's when I was feeling a loss. That's when I was experiencing a loss. So to me, the breath work and meditation, yes, it's got all of these beautiful scientific avenues and ways to incorporate into a business, but it also has this beautiful way of like landing you very profoundly in your alignment, in your alignment. So I hope that made sense. Kind of rambled there,
100%.
but you know what I
Yeah. No, that is such a beautiful way to put it. And I always say it's so hard to describe and try and convey through the English language what these
mean.
practices really offer, from like the alignment piece, the spiritual piece, the connection piece. And I think that you just said it so beautifully.
Okay. Sometimes I ramble, I'm not sure. So
I got it. I get it. Me too.
okay.
Me too. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I think that it's going to be so supportive of anybody that is potentially thinking about joining the Academy of Breath, to just remind them of what's possible. So I appreciate you.
Everything is possible. Lean in. Yeah, lean in and say yes, because anything is possible with this.